Welcome back to the OHOCKEY Show, and today we are doing the official OHOCKEY Show predictions for the entire NHL season that's starting in like 2 hours from like exactly the moment of recording. And, well, I mean, I guess technically it started with the freaking New Jersey and Buffalo games because the NHL is so dumb in the head that they decided to start games like 4 days early before the other ones in different countries across the world. But anyways, the real season in my mind, I think most people might, starts today in just a couple of hours. I'm excited for it. I bet you're excited for it, as you should be, because the best sport is back, baby. And it is time for everyone in the world to do their predictions for stuff, and it is my turn to do mine as well. So here we are. I'm going to just go through every single possible thing we can predict throughout the season. I know there's a couple things I'm going to leave off, but for the main things, this is what I wanted to do. So let's just jump right on into it now. But first, subscribe. Do it now, and it'll make me smile. Anyways, let's start off with the actual prediction. So let me grab a marker because I completely forgot to grab one. Okay, so first up, let's start off with this bottom row first because I feel like this is going to be a little bit more hype. So let's start off with the Jack Adams. Let's start all the way at the beginning. So number one, Jack Adams, Coach of the Year candidate, and I think I'm going to go with the way that I think most people are saying, and I don't necessarily believe this is true, but I think that he is going to make a difference with his team that the former coach did not, and I think this is obvious. It's going to be Sheldon Keefe. I think he is going to be being donated a team that is really wonderful. Had a horrible year because of horrible injuries, and then also Lindsey Ruff being a really, really dumb coach. That Sheldon is going to have a very easy time with the Devils, and he's going to take a team that like missed the playoffs by a huge margin to being in the playoffs by a huge margin. So I think Keefe, he's going to be a very good victim of circumstances, and I don't really think any other coach could really go above and beyond what he's going to be taking on. So Keefe, easy. Let's lock that one in. Next up, the Calder Trophy. I think this year's going to be such a fun one for the rookies. There are so many rookies that are going to be shaping the NHL in 5 years who are going to be the guys that are running the league when guys start fading out in the background. But I think this year, due to, once again, a good victim of circumstances, and I think a lot of other ones going to be hurt from it, I do believe that the winner of Best Rookie this year is going to look horrible, but is going to be none other than Matvei Michkov on the Philadelphia Flyers. I think he's just on a team that can already contend for a playoff spot. He's going to have good players around him, winning teams that are going to be able to put him in good positions to score. And I think he's going to put on good points. I think Tortorella is going to make him play hard and make him play like a good all-around game. And I think Michkov already having the amazing skill, matching maybe like a Bedard, that he's going to be able to put points on the board. He's going to play hard due to Tortorella. He's going to be on a good winning team, winning enough team, and that is better off than a guy like Macklin Celebrini, where the Sharks are going to be horrible. I know a lot of people are rooting for Cutter Gauthier, but I just don't think the Ducks are going to. I think he might start off hotter than than a Macklin or a Michkov. And I know a lot of people are also rooting for Lane Hutson, but I just think a defenseman, especially in today's NHL, it is going to be a rough ride. Moritz Seider winning it was very shocking. For Lane Hutson to win it on such a bad team, I just don't see it happening. So to me, Michkov, easy. Next up, a big one, the Vezina, number one goaltender in the NHL this season. I am going to go with what I think is going, for a couple of reasons, and I know this isn't going to be like there's no real hot takes yet, but I think Igor is going to win it. This is his contract year, right? And I'm going to make a video right after this one talking about him due to contract circumstances, but this is his contract year, right? He is going to be, I think he's in the UFA after the end of this one, so he can go anywhere the hell he wants. And Igor, contract year, he's already the best goalie in the world, and now he's got a year where he can earn those big dollars. You know he's going to be putting on a crack show, and he's going to look amazing doing it. His pads look amazing, as they always do. Like, Igor, easy pick for Vezina. I don't think anyone could really steal it from him at this point. And I think this is going to be one of those years that it is owned by like the big trophy is going to be owned by the big players. And by that, I mean this year is going to be Igor, and then for the Norris, I think it has to be none other than getting his second of his career, Cale Makar. I think Quinn Hughes had his big breakout year, but I just don't think anyone else could really steal it from him. Makar was so good last season. I think I don't know, I felt like he was, I think last year was his career high in points, but he also felt kind of quiet, honestly. I think last year, McKinnon felt like he ran the show for Colorado, but I think like Makar, I think the Colorado Avalanche are going to bring the game back together, really go full on with it. So I think Makar, he's going to steal it, get a ton of points on the board. He's going to be a real heavyweight once again, as he always is. And I think this is just a year where he steals it again. The Rocket Richard, who is going to score the most goals this season in the NHL? And last year, of course, Austin Matthews with 69, one short of 70, which would have been unreal. And what he still did is unreal, right? But does Nathan McKinnon, does Austin Matthews, the Arizona boy, does he get it 2 years in a row? Maybe. The Rocket is one of those ones, because I didn't put like the Art Ross and stuff. Like I didn't want to put like the number, like the trophies where you have to like guess like how many points someone's gonna get. Because honestly, like it does not matter what people guess. Like you're never going to be correct. But for the Rocket Richard, I'm not gonna guess the number. You know what? I guess I will. But I am going to go with Mr. Matthews. I just don't think anyone's really going to pass him this year. I think, other than maybe McDavid, I just don't think anyone has the capacity to be able to beat him in goals. He is the next Ovechkin. He is going to get the most goals in the NHL every year. That is what he's going to do, except maybe an off year. This year does not feel like an off year, and I think he will regress maybe back to like 59 goals or something, but no one's going to pass him in that. So for me, Austin Matthews once again takes it. And for the Hart, number one MVP of the NHL this season, I think it's going to go to none other than Mr. who owns this trophy at this point and will be named after him one day. Connor McDavid will take it again. I just don't see any other way. Like, I don't know who I can name above it. Like, Nathan McKinnon, Kucherov had their years last year. Like, Austin Matthews is just like I don't want to say a one-trick pony with goals because I know he's good defensively, but I just don't think nothing that he could do could beat out any of those other guys. And McDavid, he didn't win it last year. I think this is the year where he takes it back. So, for me, McDavid gets his fourth. You also get 1,000 points this year, which is it's unreal. So, yes, so those are the big trophies I wanted to put out. But let's move on to the big other predictions of the standings and the Stanley Cup playoffs. So first off, let's start off with the West. For me, Pacific Division, the ruler of it is going to go to the Vegas Golden Knights. I think that the Golden Knights have an unreal stacked team this season. They've got goaltending in Samsonov and Aiden Hill. They've got defense of Pietrangelo and just all Theodore, Whitecloud, all the guys they got back there. But then most impressively, they have such a loaded offense. Stone, Eichel, Tomas Hertl. You've got I'm now blanking on everyone's freaking names now, but and Holtz, right? They got Alexander Holtz now. They are so loaded. Eichel, I don't know who the hell I've already said, but they have so much depth on this team. And the Vegas Golden Knights, they've got the depth, they got the defense, they got the goaltending. They're in like the weakest division, so they can get they're going to play a lot of those games. They're going to easy games against teams like Calgary or Seattle. To me, Vegas is going to win that Pacific Division. I think they just got all of what's loaded up for them, and I think they're ready for a big year, a good bounce back year for the Vegas Golden Knights. Number 2, I'm going to put everyone's, for some reason, fantasy pick to be the number 1 team in the NHL this year, the Edmonton Oilers. To me, last year was unreal. What was their streak? 16 games or some shit like that? Like, whatever the hell their streak was crazy. McDavid's comeback from getting I don't remember what it was, but last year they started off so bad, and then they go on the best reign. Everyone said it. Oh, the best team since Thanksgiving. They did that. It is so hard for teams to do that back-to-back, and I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to be amazing. Second in the Pacific, with the Vegas Golden Knights, the Bruins, all those guys up there, they'll be top 5 or top 7. That is good. That is not a thing to be ashamed of. Remember this year, everyone, the top 7 teams were all separated a point or something like that. So that is not a bad place to be. So for me, Edmonton there. And then finally, we go to Vancouver. I think they're just going to have a little bit of a regression from last year being number 1 to number 3, which is not bad. So to me, that is a fine top there. For the Central Division, I'm going to say that the Dallas Stars are going to win the Central. They're just too good. They've got all of the pieces. Wyatt Johnston feels like he's ready to break out once again, into like an 80-something point player. Robertson feels primed to get back into his position as being like get to 100 points maybe this year. They've got so much going for them. So much. Dallas, Ottinger should bounce back this season. Dallas, easy pick for me there. Then we're going to go to the Colorado Avalanche. I think the Stars, Avalanche, and then the Nashville Predators. I think the Avalanche and the Stars are in the same positions they were last year. I think the Stars have a little bit more firepower and depth than the overall of the Avalanche, who still don't have Nichushkin. And even if Landeskog comes back, he hasn't played hockey in 2 years, and that doesn't bode well for them. So for me, I think those two just fit themselves there. And then Nashville, they were a wild card team last year. This year feels like they with Stamkos and Marchessault, maybe they can get into the second spot, but this is going to be a tight race between the three of them, I think. And then let's move on. Oh, wait, let's do the wild card. So for the wild card, I'm going to say the first one is going to go to the Winnipeg Jets, and then the second one is going to go to the Minnesota Wild. I know a lot of people think like Utah is somehow going to sneak into the playoffs. You are absolutely insane. They are not. To me, this is going to be our West. And then let's go to the East. So for the Atlantic, my thoughts is that the winner of that division, and this might be my first real hot take, is going to be the Boston Bruins. I think the Bruins are supremely underrated. They added Elias Lindholm, who did look very bad, not very bad, but did not do much on the Vancouver Canucks. I think he's going to fit very well in Boston. Boston also added a lot to their defense. Jeremy Swayman being the number 1 is not a bad thing at all. He is a stellar goaltender. He's getting paid his money for a damn good reason. So to me, the Bruins, they have a lot going for them. They have a lot of offensive power. Everyone forgets they still have Pastrnak. Marchand is not he's like a horrible player. He's still like a 60-plus point guy, which is pretty good. They've got a lot of top 6 depth and a lot of good depth down every position. So to me, Boston, number 1, is not that insane to me. I don't know why everyone thinks they're going to be very, lower down. Anyways, number 2, I think, is going to go to the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think this is a good year for them, and maybe they actually do steal the number 1 spot. But I think, regardless, the top 3 between the Bruins, Maple Leafs, and the Florida Panthers is going to be a tight race. I think Florida definitely is going to be 5 points behind the other two, or a little more than that. But to me, the Bruins, Maple Leafs are going to own this division. I think Tampa Bay falls out of the top 3 this year, and that is going to be the top 3 once again. And then for the Metropolitan, I'm going to go, the winner of it is the New York Rangers once again, with Igor on the line, his contract year. He's going to be stealing every single game. They said already, guys like Panarin and Trouba and stuff think that this is their final year to really go at it as a core. I think guys like I feel like Panarin had a little bit of a down year. Zibanejad had a bit down year a little bit, I think. So I think some of those guys bounce back a little bit. They still have an amazing core, amazing squad, great defense, good goaltending, great offense. They have all the pieces to own the regular season. And then second, we're going to go with the bounce back of the New Jersey Devils. I think they have the defense to really kill. They've got the goaltending in Markstrom that looks like he is ready to be the Devil of the NHL. And then, of course, Jack Hughes, hopefully he's healthy for at least most of the season. You get Hughes, Heischer, Meyer, just hopefully this is a healthier season. They feel way ready and primed to be one of the best Devil teams ever put on the ice. So to me, the Devils. And for number 3, I'm going to put the Hurricanes. I think they fall down a little bit, but they stay in the top 3 of the Metropolitan. So to me, that is that. And the wild cards this year, once again, Washington, having one of the best off seasons in the NHL, is going to stay a wild card team. And then I think the team that's going to finally break that, the off-season curse, is going to go to the Detroit Red Wings. I just don't think a team like the Ottawa Senators did enough to make a comeback. I think Tampa Bay has made some bad decisions and has done nothing. And with Kucherov's insane season last year, he's not going to repeat that good. And I think other teams like the Red Wings are a little bit more primed to have a jump, while Tampa's going to get set back. And to me, that is going to be the look of the playoffs this season. So let me just switch on over to the actual playoff bracket. Oh, and that was a picture. Okay, so now we got the playoff board. So let's go through this as quickly as possible. So let's start off with the Pacific area. So between the Golden Knights and the Winnipeg Jets, I think the Jets are one of the worst playoff-built teams possible. So to me, the Golden Knights, once again, Winnipeg, bad playoff-built team. Vegas, amazing playoff-built team. So to me, Vegas knocks them out. I think, I don't know why I did that actually, but I think Vegas last year went into it. They had an amazing series against the Dallas Stars. Vegas, for some reason, one of those teams like Tampa Bay that just feels like no one truly takes them seriously. And I think Vegas is a great team that is going to go very far. To me, Oilers versus Vancouver. Vancouver, you're just not really built for the playoffs compared to a team like the Edmonton Oilers. But you were almost successful in beating the Oilers last year. And I don't know if the Oilers' defense and goaltending is good enough to go against a team like Vancouver again, especially if you have Thatcher Demko in net. That is an interesting debate. But I don't think they have a good enough shutdown to keep down the Edmonton Oilers for too long. And I think the same issues that existed last year are going to exist this year. Well, no. I think the Edmonton Oilers get past at least round one. Then we've got the Central. So, Wild versus the Dallas Stars. Last time this series happened, it was a great series. So hopefully this happens again. And I think between this, Minnesota, you're just not playoff ready, really. You're not built. You're just not. You're not that guy. So to me, Dallas moves on, and then Nashville versus Colorado. This is going to be finally a year where I feel like Nashville might definitely be ready, especially if Saros bounces back and is a stellar goaltender and is actually a strong point in net. But to me, Colorado is just so damn good with their top guys that in the first round against a team like that where you don't have that good of a defensive core to really slow them down, I think it is going to go to Colorado. So let's go on to the other side. So in the East, first round, Capitals versus the Boston Bruins. Capitals, you're just not. No. Is going to go to the Bruins. Toronto versus Florida. You already know the answer. If you think it's the team in blue, you're incorrect. Florida is going to be moving on, and we'll get that amazing rematch again. Then we get Detroit versus the New York Rangers. Rangers all the way. It's not even going to be a close one, really. The Rangers are going to move on. And then Devils versus the Carolina Hurricanes. I think that is going to be a really good series. That I think the Hurricanes defense is pretty okay, but it is once again down the offense. Hurricanes have never done anything to address that offensive issue, and I think the Devils win. Devils moving on. So already we have got a really good looking second round. So Vegas versus the Edmonton Oilers. I think that's an upset where people are all going to be all in on Edmonton, but I think Vegas gets past them. Vegas just has that big defense, that strong two-way game up front, and then a good goaltender in net, while the Oilers are all offense, and we know defense is what wins championships apparently in this NHL. Well, to me, it's everything. You have to be really good at every single aspect of the game. And to me, Edmonton just is not. I think they were one of the flukiest teams to make the playoff finals in history, and I think the Oilers get knocked out by Vegas, who goes on to the Western Conference Final. One of the most successful teams ever in the history of the NHL. Then Dallas versus Colorado. I don't think Colorado's done enough to change what was their issue against Dallas from last time, and I think Dallas is going to do good this year in that category again, the same way where they're going to play good defense and offense, and Ottinger's going to bounce back. So I think we are going to get a rematch of last year's first round between Dallas and Vegas, and wow, I think that's actually going to be really stellar. So that is my West right now. So then the East, we get the rematch between Boston and Florida. What an amazing series, but we know big defense, big, strong shutdown defense is what wins playoffs, or a lot. And especially with a nice complement of goaltending, which the Bruins, biggest defensive core, good shutdown guys, maybe a little bit not the best all-around kind of like with the Zadorovs, but with Swayman to clean things up afterwards, I just think this is where the Panthers are finally got their number caught with the Boston Bruins, and I think this is a year where like a guy like David Pastrnak finally lights up in the playoffs and does a good job, and I think the Panthers defense fell down a lot this year. So to me, Bruins moving on, finally getting that win against the Florida Panthers. The New York Rangers versus the Devils, the rematch of the Hudson River rivalry. And see, this is where it's tough. Because to me, the Rangers' top guys like Panarin, Zibanejad, Kreider, maybe not Kreider, but those top guys they pay big money and they give the big minutes to, disappear in the playoffs. It's just they're lucky they keep having guys like Trocheck or Kreider to get really in there, and then they have Shesterkin to save every part of their ass to keep moving on. To me, it is a real question mark between the Devils and the Rangers. And Shesterkin is so good, but can the Rangers finally be solid enough? I think they do. I think the Rangers, they finally have their year where Panarin, they know this could be the last ride together. Panarin get shoved their heads out of their asses. They get points on the board. They beat the defense of the Devils, and the Devils' offense cannot fire enough. So that is the finals, the conference finals there. So in the West, Vegas versus Dallas. Vegas versus Dallas. Now that is a real question mark, because the Dallas defense currently isn't the greatest. But it's not bad at all. It is just not the top 5. While Vegas could be. But Vegas' defense also took a hit. But their two-way game is really good. So it really comes down to the stars and goaltending, I think. Like top stars, all stars. And to me, I think Vegas' top guys, this is going to be a year where they couldn't figure it out. They can't go all the way. They got rid of their Conn Smythe guy in Jonathan Marchessault, so I don't think the other guys can really carry all the weight when the stars have Johnston and Sagan and Ben and Robertson and Hintz. So to me, it is the stars, moving on to the Stanley Cup final. Bruins versus the Rangers. That feels like a really good series that goes down in history. Goaltending, Swayman versus Shesterkin, Pastrnak versus Panarin, Fox versus McAvoy. That would be a really good series. Just a lot more offense than in goaltending. Goaltending and good defense. Which one wins? Which one wins? To me, man, Boston versus the Rangers. That would be such a good series. Who do I see winning that one? I mean, with Shesterkin, but Swayman was so damn good too. But I feel like both of their star players, like Pastrnak, Panarin, maybe not Marchand, but feel like the Bruins are missing a couple of those pieces that push them over the edge. But they do have that big shutdown defense. So it really but can they overcome Shesterkin? No, I don't think so. I think the Rangers move on, and I think our finals is the New York Rangers versus the Dallas Stars, what could have been last year. And I think this is the final. Dallas versus the New York Rangers. And between New York and Dallas, I am going to go with the Dallas Stars getting, I don't know how to put this actually, but I'm going to put Dallas as the Stanley Cup champion winners. I think Dallas, in each of these matchups, can prove, they might not be the very best team on this whole entire board, but I think where the matchups end up, I think Dallas is going to win them. I think Dallas has the better star potential, has the better offensive fiery depth than a team like the Rangers do, it can overcome the problem of the Rangers when the Rangers might be suppressed a lot by the Stars. And also, look at what the Rangers would have had to gone through. They'd have to go through the Hurricane. I mean, the Red Wings would be a struggle, but not that bad. But then the Devils in one round would be tough. We know the Stars can beat the Avalanche, so they know they're going to go in with that confidence, a little bit of moxie going through it, so they're going to come through like a little bit happy with that series. But then the Rangers have to play against the Devils and the Boston Bruins, like two tough teams, and really going to have to put a lot of heart out there. I think the Stars have been through it before, and they can go through it again and come out prevailing winning. So that is my prediction for the entire NHL season of 2024-25. And I'm sure I'm completely wrong. I'm sure you probably think I'm completely wrong. But you just tell me what you think down below, and just tell me how much of an idiot for thinking this I am. But that is all I got to say. I know this has been a long one, but oh well. So thank you for watching this. If you haven't made it this far, because I'm sure you haven't, because why would you? Any sane person wouldn't. But if you have, thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and until next time, too sweet. I hope you have an amazing day, and ta-ta for now.